Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And the Stranger Things drama is continuing because they released a documentary, a behind-the-scenes documentary on the making of the last season, and it did not make the Duffer Brothers look good.
No, it did not.
It actually did give the haters, a bunch of ammunition because it looks like they shot down a bunch of really good ideas. It looks like they didn't have, or they actually admitted to not having the last episode written before they started shooting it. And also their accusations they were using ChatGPT to write the episode. I'm like, no, ChatGPT would have done a better job.
Well, now they're kind of like, oh, we were under pressure and we didn't have enough time. It's like you had 10 years.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that.
We're going to talk about all this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Go out to more.clownfishtv.com for more Clownfish TV. That's more.clownfishtv.com. Yeah, so they're already making excuses for the finale of Stranger Things. Like, look, it wasn't the worst thing ever, but it was far from sticking the landing. It really didn't make a lot of people happy. I think the more that they thought about it, people are like, but wait, this didn't make sense. But wait. And it's like, yeah, don't think about it too much because you think about it, you're going to poke all kinds of holes in the non-existent plot.
Well, that's just like, at first I was like, okay, well, with what they had going into it, I'm not making excuses for it because they really effed up just, ending it in one episode.
Right.
I thought initially, I'm like, okay, they did a pretty good job. And I'm glad people lived. That being said, you start talking about, reading what people were saying and listening to what people were saying and reading, I was like, oh, you know what? That's a good point. Oh, they're right. Oh, yeah. Now I'm like, wait, what the hell?
Yeah, we're going to look at a compilation somebody put together on TikTok of some of the most damning pieces of evidence that the staff and the stars knew more about Stranger Things than the Duffer Brothers. And they were actually trying to correct them and be like, hey, shouldn't we do this? Wouldn't my character do this? And they just kind of hand waved it. I mean, even the writers were like, hey, they get to the abyss. Shouldn't there be like some more Demogorgons instead of just a giant spider monster? No, we're tired of them.
It's Demogorgon fatigue.
Demogorgon fatigue. So this is what they said. This is their excuse. They said the Duffer Brothers say they were under pressure from Netflix to finish writing the final episode of Stranger Things 5. We were getting hammered constantly by production and by Netflix for episode 8. Well, yeah, it's a huge moneymaker for them. And they're probably like, what the hell's taking so long?
Listen to what they're saying. Episode 8, not the whole last season. Episode 8.
Right.
And they were writing clear up to the end. Yeah, they were hammering you because they needed the ending of the show. But maybe just spitballing here. If you didn't wait till the last fucking minute, you wouldn't have had such a shit show of a show because you had so much time. You've had 10 years to figure out the ending. Beyond that, you've had how many years since season 4?
Yeah.
But they were on you to figure out the episode 8. They should have been on you for the fact that episode 8 was only going to be partly wrapping it up. You should have had like 6, 7, and 8 at least as the final battle.
Yes.
After 10 years, people deserve that much.
That whole second half, that should have been just one big fight. Like you should have had, leading up to the fight, but whatever. It's neither here nor there, but it said it's the most difficult writing circumstance we've ever found ourselves in, not just because of the pressure to make sure the script was good, but because there was never so much noise at the same time. I'm like, you had all this time. So here's my take on it. Just these guys shoot it and they walk away from it and they don't think twice about it. They don't care as much about the show they created as the fans do, as the stars do, as the writers in the writing room do, and it shows. It's a paycheck, right? It's a paycheck. And they were working on getting that next paycheck. That's what you were talking about before, that they were working on the Paramount deal. And really, there should be a caveat in there. It should be like buying a house. Like if you're in the process of buying a house, for those of you who've never bought a home, if you're in the process of buying a house, you can't go out and take other big loans out until that loan clears, right? Because, it's basically assuming you're not going to take on more debt, the bank will greenlight the loan. It should be the same way with a big deal like this. Assuming you don't fuck up the ending of the show that's super popular, we're going to give you X millions of dollars to come work on our shows. But now there's a precedent set that these guys don't give a shit. So it's like...
They'll care until the end, and they're trying to jump to something else.
Until they're trying to jump.
Reason. Yeah. But we were under pressure.
We were under pressure.
Well, there was no way, even if you used the whole episode as the final battle. I don't think one episode was enough leading into it.
No,
it
wasn't.
It was dumb. It was really bad. And then the documentary, which people were excited about because they didn't have documentaries for other seasons, they only thought of it for this one apparently, is really, really making them look extremely bad and incompetent.
So we're gonna look at this again. Hat tip to bun lovers on bun lovers on TikTok who put this compilation together of the most damning pieces of evidence that the Duffer Brothers don't give a shit. So let's go take a look at this.
You see these shows that people love and adore, and the ending falters.
We went into production without having a finished script for the finale.
Oof.
We are laying down the tracks as the train is going.
Yes.
It's not like we don't know the ending. It's like it's all plotted. I just have to write it.
The whole episode has to be building towards 11 is going to kill herself.
Like if we're trying to sell it as she's gonna kill herself, and then she kills herself.
Oh, I get the writer. She's like, no.
When we write, we try to keep production in mind, but you do your best to put some of that aside and not worry about the pain of what it's going to take to pull it off.
Wow. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, it seems like the people around them aren't real thrilled with the way that they work.
No, they're kind of like, what are you doing?
Like, there's so many things that they even set up in season 8 that there was no payoff for, let alone previous seasons. And so much of this season contradicted,
The cast didn't even know why the hell, it was about Holly Wheeler. They pulled that one out of their ass.
That was the dumbest shit.
How much did they waste on that?
Not only did they, again, nothing against the actress. She's okay, right? She's a kid, whatever. But she's too old to play Holly. It was very distracting to have Holly, who was basically a background prop until this season, be the main character of the season when you're supposed to be wrapping up all the arcs of all the other characters. And then there are characters they just forgot about that have more screen time than Holly. I think people timed it, and Holly had more screen time than most of the original cast.
Well, they never explained too, like in season 4, why were they killing those people? Like, why was he doing that? The only one you see trapped in his head was Max, and that's because I think 11 brought her back from the dead, which you never see that brought back up again.
No,
he was just going randomly around killing people for no damn good reason. There was no explanation for it, really. And then the next one, instead of doing that, he's just going to get 12 kids for no reason.
Like, God, it sounds so bad.
It was like, I know, but you know what I'm saying. It never made sense.
It never made sense. I thought there had to be some reason, like there was some like mathematical formula, like, okay, I need 4 people to open the gate, and then I need 12 people to bring the worlds together, because on what was it, November 6th or whatever, that's when like the time is right, when the universe is in sync and whatever, and we can do this, and we can only do it one day a year. So I got to make sure I got all my ducks in a row. That would have made sense, a little more sense.
I never explained why. Like, why was he going around doing his one the first time? Like, there was no point to it, and they don't explain it in the second half either.
They don't explain a lot. All right, it gets better. I didn't sit through this whole thing, so I'm like, I'm good. People are hashtagging it Divorcegate because they are of the mindset, and I'm actually leaning toward this myself, that the Duffer A or Duffer B's wife actually wrote a lot of it, and when she was out of the picture, they didn't know how to end the. Or
at least like when they bounce things off of her, she's like, "But wait, what about this, this, and this, and that creates this plot hole? What if you did this?"
There are other writers, and they're like, you can sell the one woman is like wincing. She's like, "Ooh, no, let's not do that." Like, there's so many other ways you could have done this.
I can't tell from like my branch of government if I need to raise an alarm bell in terms of like the amount of shoot days that I foresee just from that meeting.
We have 250 shooting days, but it's not enough.
We are shooting episode 8, which isn't completely written yet, so we don't even fully know what's going on.
We haven't even tried this. This is gonna be a shit show.
We're not gonna shit the bed at the end.
That's
like that's.
Yeah, well, you did.
You
didn't
did.
just shit the bed. You shit it, and then you pissed on it, and then you had rebound diarrhea. And then you
what
lit it
is
on fire.
rebound diarrhea? Is
it's
that
when
like?
it's when you poop, you don't get it all out. I don't know. And then
Is that
it comes
vomiting?
back.
Is that what it's just called? Like,
Okay, then you vomited on it, and then you lit it on fire.
is that rebound diarrhea or is that reverse diarrhea?
That's reverse diarrhea. Rebound diarrhea is like, you know, when you have to go to the bathroom and you go, and then, but you didn't get sick all of a sudden, and it's like there's a bunch of diarrhea that follows it. That's rebound diarrhea.
Well, recycled diarrhea.
I'm just making this up as I go, but
what
you know,
the
so are
dogs-
they. So what's the
Dogs do recycled diarrhea. They vomit, they eat it, and then they poop it out again.
They don't-
And then they might eat that too. I mean, who knows? It's still good, right?
And then they lit it on fire.
Yeah.
It's
like,
not,
there's
not
not
that
gonna
we've
be
ever
like-
half-assed anything.
No, but
and
it's
nor do
like-
we want to.
What's going on in the
did, though.
abyss?
I don't know.
It has to be Demogorgon
Yes.
bat. It's crazy if there's nothing there, I think.
I mean, the thing that's cool is she's gonna kill herself.
The abyss is. Hold on. Okay. Based on like
It's
scientific theory.
it's all very realistic.
Are you consulting somebody?
When you guys read 8, it will make more sense.
I've never read 8 through. And we're just
You read
shooting.
8 they didn't have written?
Like I've never read. That was what the Duffers said. I've never read 8. Is that correct? He said I've never read 8 through. We're shooting it. I'm like, bare fucking minimum. You're a
I know.
showrunner
I
making
know.
millions and millions and millions of dollars. What are you? What are you doing?
The end of part 1 was just so epic, and it had everybody so excited. And you were saying to me, and this would have been such a better ending. You said, like, what if at the end they had been doing a battle, and they were battling, the people were battling the mind flare like they were. And then you see all the Demogorgons and stuff coming at them, like, oh shit, he called for reinforcements. They're going to be attacked. They're all like, oh no, we're going to die. And then they running at him, and then they think they're toast. The audience thinks they're toast. And then they run past and start attacking the mind flare because Will's controlling them. That would have been amazing.
Yeah, because I would have been how I would have done it. Not that.
Well,
I'm
I
in
said it was
charge
your idea.
in this show, but how, you know, your Netflix, you can give us millions of dollars and we could write a better ending. No, yeah, I would have done that, and I would have been like that would have been the scene where Dustin and Steve were to each other like, you die, I die, you die, because they're like, well, this is it, man, we're done. There's like freaking 1,000 Demogorgons, they're all coming for us, and we're done, but we're gonna go out, you know, blaze of
We're
glory.
going to go out fighting.
We're gonna go out fighting, and then they expect to die. They start charging at them. They know they're gonna die. And they go right past him, and then they all start attacking the mind flare. And here it's Will, because Will stayed behind for some reason or whatever, because he thought he was.
Well, he was already behind, like, you know, he
Yeah.
was his mom over there, and that's what he was doing. And you know, they call for, you know, back they calls for reinforcements. They're coming. They're all
Ludo.
coming through the cracks, just like they did into our world.
Yeah.
They're coming up, they're peering everywhere, and they're like, oh no, there's like too many of them. We're screwed. I mean, that's one. There's
That would have
so
been
many
amazing,
others. There's so
right?
many other ideas people have had that have been. I don't understand how you could fuck it up this hard.
Well, this is exactly, basically the documentary shows us why the ending sucked in real time. This kind of reminds me of they did the Phantom Menace behind the scenes on the DVD, and it was very weird. People were like, hey, George Lucas had his pick of like 3 other kids that would have made a better Anakin than Jake Lloyd. And nothing against Jake Lloyd, because I mean he's like 35, but he's got some mental problems and stuff, and there's nothing against him. I love Jingle All the Way. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies. But I don't think he was right really for Anakin, and he definitely didn't look like Hayden Christensen going. He didn't look like Mark Hamill either. They had these other kids that were actually better known actors, or they have more cred, and they actually looked like Mark Hamill. And he passed on those, and I'm like, dude, and everybody's criticizing you for your casting choices. And then it's like Jar Jar Binks, they could have had like 10 different voices for, and they went with the most stereotypical. It's like, dude, it doesn't make you look good. Sometimes it's better off not to do the documentary, because people are going to pick everything apart.
Mm-hmm. Especially with this device.
We're going to have to rely on VFX more than I want it to.
I think we're thinking about minimum of 60 feet of blue
screen,
60 feet of blue there, and 60 feet of blue there.
So, but why do we have to have them in the desert?
Because they run through the entire cave system. Henry is chasing them out. They run out the upper exit and then down to the desert.
And then I don't know what the fuck happens to him. It's an astounding achievement that this thing hasn't gone off the rails in a burning ball of fire.
Well, it did.
It hasn't changed from season 1 in the sense that it all comes down to these characters, and that's what people care about.
I have a question about these scenes.
Yeah,
It hasn't been talked about very much in any of the scenes that we've all been in together. No one knows that we're dating.
Yeah.
After Bob died. No, they watch the dailies. They watch the dailies. They keep up the dailies. I don't. Your parents?
The audience will never know that we failed today.
Whap, whap, whap. Oh, God.
And series.
No.
They want their paycheck. That guy over there does not look happy. He does not look happy.
They should put that energy to slap him across the face saying, what's wrong with you?
I just don't understand what the budget and the amount of pressure. I mean, I get pressure, but I'm like, you had people there helping you. It's not like you didn't have anybody there helping you. You had a whole writer's room. You had other people that had pretty good ideas, right? So this is Kotaku had it. They said the Stranger Things documentary gave season 5 haters more ammunition. Yeah, they shouldn't have done the documentary because it did make them look bad. It really did. It should have been more of
I don't think it took much to make them look bad. Everybody kind of figured they didn't know what the hell they were doing. It's just that put it in perspective about how much they didn't know what they were doing.
They said some of the things people pointed out are mostly speculative. In one section, the Duffer Brothers are shown with what fans believe to be ChatGPT and Reddit tabs open on the computer while writing the script for a season 5 episode. The Reddit logo is pretty clear, but the ChatGPT one is more contested. That it actually could have been Google Docs, but who knows? As for more substantial stuff, a few scenes in the documentary have caught the eye of people who are critical of the season, and more specifically the Duffer Brothers. They talk about how they didn't have the script done. Another scene of note is a moment in the writer's room in which Paul Dichter said that there should be more monsters in the finale's climactic battle, even going so far as to name the Demogorgon from season 1 as a potential foe. That would have been interesting. Like, actually have that particular Demogorgon.
Well, how do you know it's that particular Demogorgon?
Well, he's got a tattoo that says, "I survived the right side up."
I was going to say, how would you know?
Yeah.
Let's be honest here. Most people wouldn't have caught that. That was the same one.
I killed Barb, bitches. No, Barb comes back from the dead and kills the Demogorgon. You know, there we go. He says it'd be crazy if there was nothing there. When you see the finale, you know that's exactly what happened, and the feedback was ignored. It would be crazy. Like, this is, again, you're going into Mordor.
Guy.
You're going into Mordor, and also it should have been a tundra because they like it cold.
Yeah, I know. Desert. There's a desert. Desert implies hot unless it's nighttime.
They talk about Maya Hawke being like, hey, yeah, they don't know we're gay, so why are we like broadcasting? It's like, just give her some tongue. Give her some tongue at the end, because you're just like, the world that you're going to get eaten. It's like, nobody knows we're gay. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, and they said that the ChatGPT, here's a whiteboard. Okay, so here we go. This is pretty damning too, because all these ideas are better than what made it in. This is like the anti-High Republic where they had diversity and dinosaurs. This is like, oh no, here's like the good ending, but we didn't do it because whatever.
What was on it?
Well, we're going to look at that. It said Writers Board of Stranger Things 5 reveals early story concepts that were considered, but not all made it in the final version. One concept had Hopper aware of Eleven's fake-out death, actively working behind the scenes. Early drafts include an idea where Kay and Akers would kill each other. We don't know what happens to Kay. She just disappears. Hopper tends to Callie. They share heart-to-heart and form a new plan. So it sounds to me like they were going down the hole of it being a fake-out again. The second or third time she's done that in this show, but whatever. An alternate ending explored. At Max Z, Hopper, knowing Elle won't return, exits a Hummer alone as Mike panics. 11 is seen on the other side of the rift. She does not return. 11 says goodbye through a happy memory. The Upside Down is destroyed. 11 is gone, but not dead. I also suggest that in early drafts, the military was wiped out before the characters arrive at Max Z, leaving the base effectively empty. That would have made a lot more sense. Like,
that would have made a lot more sense.
Are they? So yeah, people are going through this. So it sounds to me like the original plan was they were going to fake her death, but they're going to make it more obvious to the audience that they're going to fake her death, which means they probably faked her death, which means she can come back later when they need more money, and the Paramount deal runs out.
Yeah. It's like, like I said, you search for Ben Solo, it's going to be a search for,
if you can bring
Jane
Ben
Hopper or something.
If you can bring Darth Maul back, and that was another thing that was really damning in the Phantom Menace documentary. I remember that George Lucas, they're like, why'd you cut him in half? Well, we cut him in half because I needed the audience to know he was never coming back.
Yeah,
Darth
but here's
Maul
the funny thing about
back.
that. One of the rumors out there for his treatment of the sequel trilogy had the bad guy being Darth Maul.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Like, he was like, back then, he was like, oh yeah, Darth Maul is just a disposable. Because Darth Maul was supposed to be like, oh yeah, Palpatine had another guy or two before he had Vader, so he just goes through apprentices, and he's just, Mambo number 5, and we get rid of him, and that's it. And then, they brought him back with robo legs and presumably a robo dick or something, because his whole bottom half is missing. Does Anakin have a robo dick?
That's a whole discussion we had in another video.
It's more like a USB port at this point. Anyway,
so does that mean that he's had the reassignment? I mean, I don't know. Anyway, here we go. I'm just saying this was bad. No matter how you slice it, it looks bad. The ending sucked. People did not like it.
Yeah.
It felt rushed. It felt thrown together. You could tell they didn't write it until the last minute. Then the documentary comes out and it's just presenting everything we all suspected.
Yeah, they're trying to do some damage control now. So now the director of the documentary is coming out and is like, okay, here we go.
I saw
guys.
this. They don't really answer questions though.
No, he's gonna sidestep stuff. Do you know if Eleven's dead or alive? Well, the whole point of it is we don't know. I'm like on the board.
I thought it was a she. It was a director.
Is it she? Hold on. I didn't mean to misgender you.
I don't know. That's what I thought, but I could be wrong.
Oh yeah, it's Martina Radwin. Okay, there we go. I'm sorry, Martina. I did not mean to misgender you. But yeah, do you know if Eleven's alive or dead? The whole point's it's up to the audience. Okay, here we go. Here we go. You've got superfans pausing and zooming in on individual frames of your documentary. One allegedly shows one of the Duffers with ChatGPT open on their computer. Did they use it in your presence? And if so, for what? I mean, we're even sure they had it open. I'm personally not, but the internet seems sure. Well, there's a lot of chatter where social media users are like, we really don't know. We're assuming. But to me, it's like, doesn't everyone have it open just to do quick research? Well, okay. To be fair, that could be true. It could just be like they're using it as a search engine. A lot of people are just using ChatGPT for a search engine. How can you possibly write a storyline with 19 characters and use ChatGPT? I don't even understand. What? I don't think many fans truly believe the Duffers had generative AI write their scripts. I think it's more of an aversion to the use of the technology in general Hollywood.
See, no one believes that they had AI write their scripts because then they would have had a script.
It would have been better.
And it would have been done. It would have been done.
Yeah, it would have been done.
So I don't believe they used AI because that would have mean they would have had a script and it would have been good and it would have been done.
Honest to God, with ChatGPT, you could have fed in like, look, here's everything the internet collectively knows about Stranger Things seasons 1 through 4. Generate me an outline that would give a satisfying ending for season 5.
You know, here's the thing. They keep focusing on how they didn't have a script for episode 8. Look, it doesn't matter they didn't have a script for episode 8. They should have been worried about episode 8 at episode like 6 and 7. They should have been part of the finale. They should have been part of the final battle. The fact that you literally don't get to the final battle episode 8 and it's like a few minutes long.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even wrap my head around that. Like every other season, it let up the epic battle would be the last episode, yes, but it would have a lot of lead into it, and it wasn't like half of it wasted on epilogue.
I thought for sure that that's where the budget was going to go, was the finale. I'm like, well, they spent a lot of money on this, and so far they're just spending all the time, with Holly in a cave and in a house, and that's not very
there's not
expensive.
exactly a lot of expense to that.
So it's got to be the last episode. They probably, and it's getting a theatrical release, so they're probably saving it for the ending, right? That's where all the money went, right? It's going to be like an incredibly expensive Avengers Endgame type thing, and nope. Nope, not at all. Actually, One Piece looks more expensive than that did. So it was like, oh, okay. Well, that's how we're going to end it. All right. But yeah, they're doing damage control. I mean, I think that ship has sailed. The problem is when your show ends like this, it retroactively ruins the fandom for the entire series. So this series is not going to go down in the history books as being like the greatest thing for Gen Z, Gen Alpha ever. They're going to remember how they didn't stick the landing, and they're going to move on to something else.
Really? I don't know. I think they still might remember it was really, impactful because it was 10 years that it, most of the 10 years it was good.
Well, so was Star Wars for decades, and then Disney flushed that down.
I get that, but there's some people who like the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, and they just choose to ignore Disney's. You could still like seasons 1 through 4 or 1 through whatever and choose to ignore 5. Or just go up to the end of the part 1 and be like, yep, Will got powers. In my mind, in my head canon, he defeated Vecna at the end.
The end. That's basically what happened. And then they beat Vecna, and the end. Yada, 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 the end.
So anyway, can you wrap this up? Speaking of the end, this is going
let's wrap it up, guys. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.